Imagine this. You drop your spouse off at a doctor's appointment. A few hours later, you come back to pick them up, but they've disappeared without a trace. 40 years pass, and the mystery only deepens, until one photo unravels the truth. That's what happened in 1982, when a man left his wife at a local clinic. They had plans to meet later, but when he returned to pick her up, she had vanished. She never made it inside, and the office claimed they hadn't seen her at all. Panic set in as the husband desperately searched for any sign of his wife. What started as a routine day quickly spiraled into a nightmare that would last decades. As hours passed, the man frantically called friends, family, and the police, but no one had seen or heard from his wife. The small town was rocked by her sudden disappearance, and authorities immediately launched a search. Flyers were posted, interviews were conducted, and search parties were organized. But there was nothing. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Days turned into weeks, and despite the efforts of law enforcement and the community, no clues emerged. Her husband was left devastated, his life turned upside down. Despite a full-scale investigation, no solid leads were found. Investigators combed through her life, interviewing friends, co-workers, and neighbors, but the answers only led to dead ends. Her family begged for answers, but with each passing day, hope began to fade. The police speculated that she could have been abducted, but there were no signs of a struggle or ransom demands. It was as though she had simply vanished into the ether. As time went on, the case grew colder and colder. The file eventually buried in the archives as an unsolved mystery. For the next 40 years, the woman's family lived with the unbearable weight of uncertainty. Every phone call, every unexpected knock at the door brought the possibility of news, good or bad. But the years dragged on in silence. The case became one of the many unsolved missing persons mysteries that haunted the town. Friends, family, and investigators could only speculate about what happened. Had she left willingly? Was there foul play involved? The questions were endless, but no answers ever came. It seemed the case would remain unsolved, lost to time. Then, 40 years later, the case took a shocking turn. In a bizarre twist, a photograph surfaced, one that would reopen the cold case. The image was of an elderly woman living in another state. She resembled the missing woman, but could it really be her? Investigators, fueled by this new clue, decided to dig deeper. With advances in technology and renewed interest, they uncovered evidence that pointed in a completely unexpected direction. The trail that had gone cold decades ago was suddenly heating up again, and the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. What investigators uncovered next would leave everyone stunned. The missing woman had in fact been alive the whole time, living under a different name in a distant state. She had created a new life for herself, seemingly leaving her past behind. But why? Why would she abandon her family and disappear without a trace? As investigators delved deeper, they uncovered a life filled with secrets, pain, and personal struggles that had driven her to flee. The truth behind her disappearance was far more complex and heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. When the missing woman's family learned the truth, they were left in shock. The relief of finally knowing what had happened after all these years was mixed with the pain of discovering that their loved one had chosen to leave them behind. The questions shifted from, "Where is she?" to, "Why did she go?" The decades of anguish had finally come to an end, but it wasn't the ending anyone had expected. The emotional toll on her family was unimaginable, caught between the joy of her being alive and the grief of her self-imposed exile. In the end, the missing woman's case wasn't about abduction or foul play. It was about a life lived in silence, hidden from the people who loved her. The decades-old mystery was solved, but the story remains a haunting reminder of the secrets people carry and the decisions they make to escape their pasts. Sometimes, the truth is more terrifying than the mystery itself. What drives someone to walk away from their life, and how do they live with the consequences of that decision? The answers lie in a story that took 40 years to uncover.